Just a quick note before we get started. Remember that when you complete the quiz following this session, you will receive your CPD certificate. So I want you to imagine sitting at your desk, right? And your CEO video calls you. You see his face. You hear his exact voice. He even makes that, that weird, familiar throat-clearing noise he always does before giving a directive.
Oh, yeah, the classic executive tell.
Right. And he tells you to immediately wire $2 million to close a time-sensitive vendor contract. So you do it, but then like 5 minutes later, you find out he's been on a transatlantic flight without Wi-Fi for 3 hours.
Oh.
Yeah. The man on your screen literally didn't exist.
I mean, it sounds like a Hollywood script, honestly, but that is the exact reality financial professionals are navigating right now.
It's terrifying. Usually when we talk about verifying something, like a medical diagnosis, there's this expectation of precision, like engineering.
Right, something tangible.
Exactly. You break your arm, the x-ray shows that jagged white line, and the doctor just points and says, there it is. Broken or not broken, it's clean. It's objective.
Because we like things to be visible, to be neatly categorized. We fundamentally crave evidence we can literally see with our own eyes.
But then you step into the current world of digital identity and synthetic media, and suddenly that x-ray machine is broken.
Completely shattered.
Yeah. We are looking at a landscape of verification that is just incredibly murky. So today, we are exploring a comprehensive guide on digital trust in the age of deepfakes.
Which is such a massive shift.
It really is. We are looking at the total collapse of traditional verification, the rapid evolution of continuous identity frameworks, and how institutions and, well, you as a professional, must completely rethink integrity in a world where seeing is no longer believing.
Because for decades, trust in financial and professional environments has been built on a very simple, unquestioned assumption, right? That human perception, supported by a few standard documents, is a robust foundation for trust.
Which makes sense historically.
It did, but that assumption is now entirely obsolete. Sophisticated state actor-level technology is cheap, accessible, highly scalable, and it is actively shattering that fundamental baseline.
Absolutely. So our mission for you today is to help you understand exactly how artificial intelligence is weaponizing human perception. We want to equip you with the knowledge to navigate and protect yourself in what is rapidly becoming a post-authenticity professional landscape.
A great way to put it.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because before we can understand how institutions are scrambling to protect themselves, we have to look at the anatomy of the deception itself.
Yeah, you have to know how the trick works.
Right. How exactly does this technology work, and why is it so fundamentally different from, I don't know, somebody just photoshopping a fake driver's license 10 years ago?
Well, to meaningfully assess the risk, you have to realize this isn't just better photo editing. It is a massive architectural step change in how media is generated.
Like a totally different species of forgery.
Exactly. We are talking about synthetic media generated by machine learning models, specifically generative adversarial networks, or GANs.
Okay, let's break down that mechanism. Because from my understanding, a GAN is basically two AI systems fighting each other, right?
Spot on. You have the generator AI, which creates the fake video or audio, and the discriminator AI, which tries to detect the forgery.
Like an art forger and a detective.
Yes, and they are locked in a literal arms race inside the computer millions of times a second. The generator makes a face, the discriminator spots a pixel flaw around the jawline and flags it as fake.
So it rejects it.
Right, but the generator learns, fixes the jawline, and tries again. It's an endless cycle of self-improvement until the discriminator can no longer tell the difference between the synthetic media and reality.
Wow. Which means by the time it reaches human eyes, the effectiveness of our own judgment as a line of defense has basically dropped to zero.
Pretty much. We are dealing with mathematical perfection.
That's wild. So how does this actually manifest in the real world?
The threats break down into three distinct categories. First, video deepfakes. The technology now maps microexpressions, tracks motion seamlessly across a three-dimensional plane, and dynamically adjusts ambient lighting in real time.
So it's not just a static image anymore.
No, it's no longer a clunky face pasted onto a static body. It breathes, it blinks naturally, it casts accurate shadows.
And then there's voice cloning, which honestly feels even more pervasive because we rely on phones for so much rapid communication.
Oh, voice cloning is particularly alarming because the barrier to entry is almost non-existent now. These AI models only need an incredibly short audio sample to capture the precise frequency, tone, and cadence of a specific individual.
Let me pause right there and ask you, the listener, to think about the last 3 phone calls you had with your clients today. How many of them lasted longer than 3 seconds?
Probably all of them.
Right, because that is literally all the audio a fraudster needs to perfectly clone their voice for the next time they call you. They can scrape 3 seconds from a voicemail, a public presentation, or like a social media clip, and instantly have a flawless digital puppet of your client's voice.
Which completely undermines any environment where voice authentication or verbal phone instructions are relied upon.
It really does. But there's a third category, right?
Yeah, and it's the one causing the most structural damage to the financial system, synthetic identities.
Yeah.
This isn't traditional identity fraud where someone steals your passport and wears a disguise.
Yeah.
This is the creation of an entirely new person.
So traditional fraud is like a static counterfeit, right? A fake ID card you slide across a bank counter. But a synthetic identity is dynamic.
Exactly, dynamic.
It's like a Frankenstein monster stitched together from real data, maybe a real social security number, but a fabricated name, and mapped onto an AI-generated face and voice. This is a fake person who can literally sit in on a live video interview and answer questions in real time.
What's fascinating here is why this works so effectively against us. It exploits a fundamental human biological vulnerability.
How so?
Historically, our evolutionary survival depended on trusting visual and auditory cues. If we see a lion, there is a lion.
Right. Our brains are wired that way.
Exactly. Deepfakes bypass our logical, policy-driven defenses by hacking our raw sensory inputs. A synthetic identity doesn't just present a forged document. It provides contextually coherent interactions.
Wow.
It answers questions logically, it presents matching documents, it smiles at the right moments.
It's weaponizing biology against bureaucracy.
I love that phrasing, yes.
Which naturally brings us to the massive institutional doors we've built over the decades to keep bad actors out. I mean, we let people into the financial system based on what they look like and what they sound like.
We always have.
Right. And since our audience is highly familiar with traditional Know Your Customer, or KYC, frameworks, the passports, the utility bills, the basic facial recognition checks, I want to skip the basics.
Let's do it.
Here's where it gets really interesting. If a deepfake can perfectly map eye tracking and expressions, doesn't that mean the entire event-based onboarding model is completely broken?
In a digital-first environment, yes. Absolutely.
Like really, just completely useless.
The initial point-in-time check is practically useless as a standalone defense. We've operated under the assumption that if you prove who you are at the front door, you remain that authenticated person for the rest of your tenure with the institution.
Unless, like, a massive red flag emerges.
Right. But advanced deepfake systems easily bypass those initial anti-spoofing software checks during a remote video selfie.
Because if they can fake the initial onboarding, they can fake the follow-up calls, the wire authorizations, the password resets.
Yep.
So the risk window isn't just at the door anymore. It's permanently wedged open. So how do institutions adapt when they can no longer trust the lock on the front door?
They're being forced to shift from static checkpoints to continuous KYC or CKYC. Because identity can no longer be trusted as a fixed attribute, it has to be treated as a dynamic profile that is persistently tested.
Okay, that makes sense.
The industry is expanding the very definition of identity assurance by layering in 2 highly technical concepts: KYI, know your interaction, and KYB, know your behavior.
Okay, let's unpack those mechanisms, starting with KYI. Know your interaction. So instead of just asking who is logging in, we are analyzing the context of the login itself.
Precisely. KYI is about real-time session validation. When an interaction occurs, the system isn't just looking at the password, it's looking at the telemetry data.
Like what kind of data?
Well, is this session routing through an unusual VPN? Does the device fingerprint match the client's historical device usage? Are they engaging from an IP address that geographically contradicts where their cell phone currently is?
Ah, I see.
It's adaptive authentication that constantly scores the risk of the specific session in real time.
And then there's KYB, know your behavior, which honestly feels a bit like science fiction.
It really does.
We're moving beyond your face or your fingerprint into the realm of how you subconsciously act. Let me ask you this, because I am notoriously terrible at typing.
Okay.
I aggressively backspace because I can never spell words like bureaucracy correctly on the first try. Does behavioral biometrics actually track that level of minutia? Could an AI replicate my terrible spelling habits?
It tracks exactly that level of minutia, and no, a deepfake currently struggles immensely to replicate it.
Seriously?
Yeah. Behavioral biometrics measures the micro-hesitations between your keystrokes. It measures the exact pressure you apply to a touch screen. It even leverages the gyroscope sensor in your smartphone to measure the specific physical angle at which you habitually hold your device while scrolling.
That is wild. So it's creating a biological fingerprint out of my digital clumsiness.
Exactly. Even if a fraudster creates a flawless visual deepfake of your face and perfectly synthesizes your voice to reset a password, the moment they try to navigate the banking portal, the KYB algorithms will flag the session.
Oh, because they don't hold the phone like I do.
Right. The fraudsters typing cadence and mouse movement simply do not match the thousands of hours of baseline behavioral data the bank has on how you personally interact with that interface.
Okay, so the front door is completely broken, and we are relying on these invisible tripwires like KYB to catch people inside the house.
Right.
But what happens when the synthetic identity actually gets inside? I mean, they aren't just sitting there. They're actively weaponizing that access. How are they escalating this from simple identity theft to massive corporate damage?
Well, they are executing highly sophisticated fraud typologies that leverage our psychological blind spots. The most damaging right now is executive impersonation fraud.
Like the CEO plane scenario we opened with.
Exactly. Fraudsters don't just use deepfakes arbitrarily, they pair them with extensive reconnaissance.
So they do their homework.
Oh, absolutely. They know when the CEO is traveling. They know the internal hierarchy of the finance team. They trigger an urgent, highly realistic video call demanding a rapid wire transfer. And they use the deepfake to bypass the cognitive skepticism an employee would normally have.
It's basically psychological manipulation.
Yeah.
They're hijacking our authority bias, our instinct to obey the boss, and our urgency bias, our instinct to act quickly in a crisis.
Exactly.
But what if the internal systems actually flag the transaction? Like, say the employee initiates the wire, but the bank's fraud detection pauses it and demands a step-up verification. What happens then?
That leads to perhaps the most advanced typology, account takeover amplification.
Amplification.
Yeah, this is where the fraudster uses the institution's own security protocols to legitimize the theft.
Okay, wait, I'm trying to picture this mechanism. If my account is flagged for a massive wire transfer, the bank usually sends a push notification requiring me to record a live video selfie reading a random string of numbers. Are you saying that fraudsters are piping a live deepfake feed directly into the bank's security app to pass that test?
That is exactly what is happening.
Oh, wow.
They intercept the step-up challenge, run the deepfake generator in real time, synthesize the client's voice, reading the required numbers, and feed it back to the bank.
Wait, so the safety net itself is what they're using to steal the money. We've essentially built a foolproof alarm system that only the burglars know the passcode to.
It sounds crazy, but yes.
It's like a bank robber using the bank's own security guard to help them crack the vault, completely bypassing the very system designed to stop them.
It is a massive structural vulnerability. Traditional legacy systems look for human errors, a mismatched zip code, a slight timing anomaly.
Right.
But because deepfakes are generated by an AI constantly fixing its own errors, they are internally perfect. The audio perfectly matches the lip movements. The synthetic face perfectly matches the ID on file.
So it looks completely legitimate to the system.
Exactly. There is no clear, logical signal of abnormality until the funds have cleared the network.
So how do you even fight that? I mean, if human eyes can't catch it and legacy rule-based software can't catch it, what is the defense?
The defense has to become an AI versus AI warfare model. You need machine learning models specifically trained on the mathematical artifacts left behind by deepfake generation.
Fighting fire with fire.
Exactly. While a video might look flawless to a human, an AI discriminator can sometimes detect that the pixel arrangement of the synthetic skin lacks the microscopic blood flow variations of real human tissue.
It's invisible telemetry fighting invisible forgery. But this scales way beyond just a stolen wire transfer, right? I mean, if an AI can impersonate a CEO to steal $2 million, it can impersonate a CEO to destroy a company's market cap.
Oh, easily. This elevates immediately to a board-level corporate governance issue. Think about the reputational velocity of a deep-faked CEO issuing a fabricated, highly controversial public statement on social media.
Or like a fake earnings call leak.
Right. High-frequency trading algorithms will parse that fake audio, sentiment analysis will turn negative, and a company's stock can plummet by billions of dollars in milliseconds.
In milliseconds, wow.
The speed at which digital content spreads means the market damage is entirely finalized before a human communications director can even draft a press release denying the event.
That is terrifying.
It fundamentally forces boards to ask what controls exist before high-impact communications are authenticated and acted upon.
And this chaos isn't isolated to the C-suite or Silicon Valley tech companies.
Yeah.
If you can digitally simulate reality, you can systematically dismantle evidence across any regulated industry.
Across all of them.
Right. If they can fake an executive, they can certainly fake a car crash for insurance purposes.
The insurance industry is heavily reliant on assessing evidence of real-world events, and they are highly vulnerable right now. We are seeing synthetic dashcam footage of multi-car pileups submitted as real claims.
You're kidding.
Nope. We are seeing altered, AI-generated images of roof damage after a storm. If the submitted photo or video no longer inherently reflects a physical reality, insurers have to invest heavily in metadata forensics and satellite cross-referencing just to establish a basic baseline of truth.
And then there's the legal sector.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying when you think about it. The absolute foundation of the justice system is the admissibility of evidence.
Manipulated audio or video presented as evidence in litigation challenges procedural integrity from the ground up. In family law, we are seeing fabricated audio recordings of spouses being verbally abusive.
Oh, that's incredibly dark.
In corporate litigation, deep-faked Zoom recordings of contract negotiations. How do you verify client identity during a remote deposition?
You almost can't.
Right. How does a judge assign evidentiary weight to a digital file when the very technology designed to create the file is indistinguishable from reality?
Which brings us to the most crucial pivot for you, the listener.
Right.
We've established that the entire digital foundation of banking, insurance, and law is currently built on quicksand. So what does this all mean? How do you function effectively when you absolutely cannot trust your own eyes and ears?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it demands a fundamental behavioral reorientation. Historically, professionals have relied on implicit trust.
Right, like recognizing an email address.
Yes. A recognizable email address, a familiar face on a screen, a known voice on the phone, that was enough to execute an action. That era is over. You must move from an assumption-based trust model to a verification-first mindset.
Let me play devil's advocate here, because we live in a business ecosystem that worships seamless, frictionless customer experiences. Everything is supposed to be optimized, one-click, agile. Doesn't enforcing a trust but verify model, where we constantly pause to interrogate our clients and our superiors, completely ruin operational efficiency? Aren't we just dumping massive amounts of friction in the gears of commerce?
We are dumping friction into the gears, and that is exactly the strategic goal. Friction is the only thing that defeats urgency.
I see.
Technology, like the KYB sensors and AI discriminators we discussed, isn't enough to solve this in isolation. Organizations have to undergo a massive, sometimes uncomfortable cultural shift.
So what does that actually look like in practice on a busy Tuesday afternoon?
It means you systematically refuse to rely on a single communication channel for sensitive instructions.
Okay.
If you receive a voice request for a wire transfer or a change in payroll routing details, you verify it via a secure secondary channel. You message them on an internal encrypted chat, or you call them back on a known pre-established phone number.
So if the CEO calls and says, wire this money right now, the deal is closing in 10 minutes, the culture of the company has to actively support the junior employee who says, I am going to hang up, locate you on our internal directory, and call you back before I send a single dime.
Precisely. If your corporate culture subtly punishes that employee for slowing down a fast-moving deal, your million-dollar technological defenses are completely useless.
Right, because the human element overrides it all.
Exactly. The cognitive shortcuts we all take to survive a busy workday are the exact vulnerabilities deepfakes exploit. Fraud prevention is no longer just an IP problem. It is about behavioral resilience.
It's a complete shift from efficiency-led decision-making to a model where skepticism is embedded as a core professional standard. You have to assume that every digital identity interacting with you is constantly contestable.
That is the new reality. We are living in a post-authenticity world. The foundation of professional trust is no longer about proving who someone is at the onboarding stage. It is about continuously assessing whether what is being presented in this exact specific micro-interaction can be verified.
To summarize our journey today, The visual and auditory cues we've relied on for our entire evolutionary history are being seamlessly hijacked by generative AI. The traditional event-based KYC check at the front door is broken, requiring institutions to rely on continuous behavioral telemetry to spot fraudsters inside the house.
Exactly.
Bad actors are bypassing legacy security because their synthetic lies are internally mathematically perfect. This is a systemic crisis impacting everything from banking wire transfers to legal evidence. And for you, it means your daily professional survival depends on a cultural shift toward a verification-first mindset. Urgency must always equal caution.
This raises an important question, though. We are rapidly approaching a time where an AI can perfectly replicate a flawless, highly professional human interaction.
Wow.
It will have the perfect tone, the ideal microexpressions, absolute internal consistency, and boundless patience. If a digital simulation can be that flawless, will we soon reach a point where authentic human flaws, our unpredictable hesitations, our awkward pauses, our genuine spelling mistakes, and our emotional, clumsy moments become the only reliable proof of our humanity?
Wow. If the clean, mathematically perfect X-ray is the fake, then maybe the messy, blurry, imperfect image is the only one we can actually trust. Thank you so much for joining us for this session. Remember to complete the quiz following this to receive your CPD certificate. Stay curious, trust your instincts, but always verify, and we will catch you next time.